Hey guys, it's me, the X whatever here today. If you're wondering why do I sound so quiet, because I just want to be, but anyway, I'll get a little deeper. So guys, today we're doing what if Bill was Technoblade. So I'll start the story. You see, after, well, you know how the podcast happened, they're still in prison. But no one knew that the egg, or the infection egg, was breaking out of its prison and getting stronger by each day. No one knew about this, but when Bad disappeared, no one knew where he went. But as soon, I'm gonna say 2 weeks later, when Technoblade got to prison, or was still in the prison, Dream found another another spell, or something that was in the book that Jay Slat had. He Dream could hardly read it, but what he could theorize is that the spell transports anyone to another world and the people there. But they have to be all around him. But that was not the case. However, after Technoblade and Dream began discussing if they should use it, something they felt the ground shake beneath them, even though they were in Pandora's box. And even everyone in the service felt it. Filza felt something brewing, evil, incarnate. The next day, the day, and I'm calling this day the end of the server. You see, today marks the day of where the egg broke out of its containment. The egg broke free, began transforming into something unimaginable. Everything it was touching, it was destroying the world itself. However, some survivors managed to find the prison and get into Pandora's box. But however, the Pandora's box is built for containing Dream and Technoblade Dream. But the others had no other choice because it was the safest place there would be, or so they thought. As Technoblade and Dream were saying to each other, should we do it? As Dream was like, I'm not sure. As everyone in SMP is in the prison now with them, and they're saying, what Rambu's saying this, what is there a way, what guys, do you have a plan? As both of them look at each other and nods their heads, they say, we may have a plan to escape this. And everyone in the server is listening in. However, the Pandora's box lava that was covering around it was turning into black liquid. And it touched one of them. And that person was probably, well, it was Phil. Phil didn't know that it was touching him, but his body disappeared, and all that was left was his hat. So Technoblade lunged to Phil's hat and grabbed it before the liquid could touch it. And that's when Technoblade noticed that he felt Phil's soul in the hat, like he was still there, but asleep. But that's when the liquid began going through the walls. And then it began touching everyone. The only two people who were left were Dream and Technoblade. But however, Technoblade did manage to grab all the items from the people on the server. However, Dream said if Technoblade can manage to hold it off just long enough, he would be able to transport everyone there. As Technoblade's blocking everything off as fast as he can, he has eight blocks left until a spear goes through Dream's heart. And then Dream's coughing up blood as he's like saying, "No, I've read the rest of it, but there's one word I don't have the strength to say. Say it, Techno. Save the server." As Dream's mask falls to the ground and his body turns to dust, as Techno grabs his mask and grabs the book and just says, "Vrak Gatar," and all of a sudden he's transport. Every sudden, a blast of white light shines on him, and he disappears, and the server finally dies. And when Technoblade woke up 5 hours later, he woke up and he was in a forest. He was like, "What happened?" As he looks at his body looks different. Yes, it's this. And he has pink hair, but he has a boar skull. He's like, "Doesn't matter what I look like now. What matters is..." But when he went to grab Dream's mask, he felt something else. It was a sword. And the sword, when Technoblade was looking into it, was Dream inside the sword. He was just sleeping. So, Technoblade decided to do something. He decided to say, "Hey, Dream." No response from Dream in the sword. As Techno says, "Do you want to murder some orphans?" And that wakes up Dream immediately and says, "No, I don't!" As she realizes, wait, why am I in a sword? As Technoblade's like, "I don't know. When I read the book, you weren't like this. You were a mask." As Dream's like, well, where are the other? Well, what happened? I'm guessing the others are the others are. As Technoblade's like, "No, they're fine. Their souls, however, or bodies are gone, but their souls are not." As Dream's like, "Techno, do you have the book still?" Techno tries, then Bell begins cooking in his pocket, just says, "Yeah." As Dream's like, "Could you put it next? Could you put it to the sword?" As Technoblade does so, and all of a sudden the book goes into the sword and goes to Dream's hand. And Dream's like, "I didn't think that would work." As Technoblade's like, "What? Wait, how did you do that?" As Technoblade's talking to Dream in the sword, and Dream's like, "Well, I did discover something." As Technoblade's like, "What? What did you discover, Dream?" As Dream begins to explain that apparently he can still resurrect everyone on the server, but they could still be resurrected, but they need to be awakened in order for that to happen. As Techblade's like, "What?" As Dream begins to explain that they're in deep hibernation. The book just says, the book says that. And Technoblade and Dream begin discussing about how we're gonna wake them up. As Dream says, "Well, we can probably start with Tommy. He's probably the most easiest we can wake up. Maybe Rambu. I don't know, but Philza, that's gonna be a tough one." As Techno's like, "Don't worry, Dream, don't worry. Even though all our friends are gone, or not gone, just are just asleep, or wake him up. As Dream just sighs and the sword just says, "Yeah." However, Technoblade noticed it was already getting dark, so we made a campfire. And he noticed that he had his axe apiece, and he begins cutting some wood down and making a campfire. And of course, Technoblade looked in his inventory and just saw Phyllis's hat. He popped it out of his inventory, and he put it in his hand. He's just crying on it, just crying all over it, just saying, "Why were you the first one to go?" He was crying for 15 minutes, but he pulled himself together. As Dream was also like sleeping, go crying, they went to sleep. So they got up, looked around, and the Technoblade decided to kill some things for food. Because he knows his hunger bar is really low. So he manages to find a pig, and he just says, "Nah, I don't want to kill one of my own kind." Turns to the left and he sees a cow. He's like, "You die." Kills it immediately. And since the weapon is technically still Minecraft, the meat turns into the steak thing. So yeah. So Technoblade grabs the raw meat beef and cooks it, and he eats it, and his hunger bars are full. But he begins stretching, and he just says, "Hey, Dream." And Dream's like, "Yeah, man, man, it must suck being that sword." As Dream's like, "Yeah, I wish we could switch places." As Technoblade's like, "Yeah, I wish we could switch." And all of a sudden, a burst of light, like happens, like not like a huge radius, but a 1 meter radius. And all of a sudden, Dream was in Technoblade's place. However, when Dream looked at the sword was netherite and had Technoblade in it. And Technoblade's like, "Dream?" As Dream's like, "Techno?" As Dream's looking at his hands, like saying, "I'm free." As Techno's like, Dream, what do you know about this, hmm?" As Dream's like, "Calm down, let me see the book." As he begins reading the book, and it says something peculiar. As Dream's speechless. As Technoblade's like, "So, what does it say?" in the sword. As Dream says, "Techno, it, it appears that if we're it appears that we can switch places." As Techno's like, "Yeah, Dream, we know that already. So what's the catch?" As Dream says, "Well, we can if we want to well." As Dream explains about that how come Dream and Technoblade did it, how Dream explains how Techno did it, and Dream says, "Well, the only thing that I've managed to find out is that we're bonded." As Techno's like, "Bonded? For what? Bonded? Why?" As Dream's like, "Well, you see, we're bonded, so basically we have a body, basically, so we're basically sharing a body." As Techno's like, "But what? How is that possible?" As Dream's like, "I don't know. It's just that I think when you said that, we switched places. When we switched places, the thing automatically did the bonding, or someone bonded us together. I don't know who, but it must be the result of me teleporting you." As Technoblade realizes something. "Dream?" And Dream says, "Yeah." "You know that word I said?" As Dream's like, "No." I said the last spell for us to be here. And that's when he realizes that Dream didn't complete the whole book. Techno said the last word, and the book thought that Techno Dream and Technoblade were the same person. So that's why they're bonded. And they all, Techno and Dream, look at each other and like saying, "What?" So we're, so that's why we're bonded. As Technoblade's like, seems so, but let me out of here, Dream. And Dream's like, I want to stretch though. As Techno's like, fine, just pick me up then. And of course, Technoblade has everyone's stuff to be resurrected. However, 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 someone shot a bow at Dream, but when it hit Dream's clothes, the arrow bounced back, and Dream's like, "What the?" And this is a guy who is insane and crazy. Just says, "What? How did you survive? That arrow is sharp. Is that arrow is iron arrow. No one can deflect it." As James like Techno like in his head because they have a telepathic thing. As Techno's like, yeah, can we kill this guy please? And Techno's like, a dream. You are out now out of prison, but go ahead. He just tried to attack us. So as Dream's eyes began glowing red as that he was turning to the guy felt pure fear, and you just heard her scream in the forest, but no one heard him. I'll describe the scene to you guys. Sorry about that. If you guys really are enjoying this, please tell me. But after not Deku. Sorry guys, Bell. I'm gonna say Bell was Technoblade. No, fuck it. If you guys want to read Bell, but no, I think I'm gonna say. Oh wait, I just realized. I'm gonna say he's gonna say he's no. I'm gonna say he's Technoblade, so whatever. As Dream stabs the guy in the throat and rips his head off and throws it into the forest. And Techno's like, "Geez, Dream, I didn't know you were so aggressive." As Dream's like, just sighs and says, "Sorry, just that Crackety kept me in prison and torturing me, so I needed something to kill." As Techno's like, "Well, we could have asked him for information first about where we are." As Dream was like, he's like, I didn't stop to think of that." As Tech was like, "Really? Oh, come on, that's the first strategy in war." As Dream's like, "We're not in war." As Tech was like, "Yeah, but if someone goes to war with us, I want to be the first person to end the war. Because I've been in 2 wars, Dream." And Dream's like, "Yeah, and I have been like in 2 as well, so." As both of them begin, as Dream begins arguing with a fucking sword, which thankfully no one sees. If you're wondering if anyone like felt this presence, no, because it's is magic, but this magic is something else. As Dream was walking through the forest for the next 4 days, and he was exhausted, and Dream's like, "Hey, Techno," and Techno's like, "Yeah, are you tired?" And Techno's like, "No, all you have has just been holding me." And Dream realizes that if Tech wait if he's in the sword, he can actually have recovery then and have a break. As Dream says, "Hey Techno," and Techno says, "Yeah, switch places with me." And Techno's like, "Okay," and all of a sudden they switch places. And Techno's holding Dream, and it's a diamond sword, not a netherite sword anymore. See, the difference is because I'm saying that when when they switch places, the sword transforms into a diamond sword when Dream's in it. But when Dreams gets out of it and Technoblade gets into the sword, it's netherite basically. However, the netherite sword does so much damage. But the diamond sword does like this does not do as much damage, but does negative one. Well, it does the same amount of damage just by 1, well, -1 plus sign for damage, so yeah. As Technoblade's like, really, Dream? You couldn't walk anymore? And Dream's like, dude, I'm exhausted. And Tech was like, can't argue with that. As Technoblade gets up, and he just sees a city, this city. And he begins walking towards it. However, he checked he checked his clock. However, he looked up and he noticed it was night. And and Tech was like, wow, Dream, you really it's already nighttime, Dream, jeez. As Dream's like, I know, okay? When you're running through a forest that's, I don't know, 100 inch, like 100 acres long, it's hard to travel, okay? As Tech was like, whatever. He begins walking to the city, but he notices that the gates are closed. So he thinks to himself, as James like, Tecto, do you have like an ender pearl still from like when everyone dropped? And Tecto's like, yeah, I do, but I do. I only have two. And Jim's like, well, use one to get over the wall, and then we can probably see what's in the city. And I'm gonna say the Loki Familia already got dealt with the Minotaur situation. They're just celebrating. As Technoblade proceeds to throw an Ender Pearl over the wall and teleports inside. He looks around the building. He looks all around and says, man, I guess everyone's asleep. He begins walking. He begins walking through the street. And that's Loki Familia where we're leaving. However, Ainz forgot something. She forgot her sword at the bar. And as soon as she got out of the bar, she she's walking right back to her house, and she just sees someone wearing a mask and have pink hair and a fancy suit walks right past her. And she did that. She just felt something. Not like a crush or anything. She just felt like her skills are nothing compared to him. But she just shrugged it off like it was nothing. But she was like wondering what that feeling was. Oh God, I did not mean to do that. And it was like a feeling of fear came over her, like a beast has entered the city. And compared to well, Technoblade and Dream are even for PvP, but Techno's the PvP god, so he's like so. Plus, he's a level 1. Ainz maybe can beat him, but that's a 1% chance. She's a level 8, probably a level 7 right now, right? I think, yeah. But if Technoblade goes like higher than level 1, oh guys, he is going to be a beast because the clothes that he's wearing, pretend the clothes that he's wearing right now are all netherite, even the helmet, even the mask, and they have the best enchantments, but they're not glowing, so it doesn't like so it doesn't make them all like stand out or anything like stand out. He begins walking more, and he also felt that a presence about her, but not as vulnerable. He did want to use his bloodlust on her, but she was not even worth it. He just shrugged it off like it was nothing. As soon as he got there, he noticed that people were going into this place. So, it was a dungeon. So he went up there and walked in. Everyone's looking at him like, what kind of family is he in? As he says, what's this place? As she just says, oh, do you not know what this is? This, and Technobade's like, no, sorry. Sorry, my family lives in the forest, so I don't know about these things. As the lady says, well, this is a dungeon where monsters are, and we can level up. And Techno's like, level up? As she just says, yes, the higher your level is, the stronger you get. And Techno's like, interesting. So how do I get in? She says, well, do you have a familiar? And Techno's like, what's a familiar? As everyone looks at him, just says, how do you not know what a familiar is? It says, like I said, I literally don't know what this place is. I just arrived. And the lady says, well, you have to be in a familiar in order to go into their dungeons. And Techno's like, okay, was there any gods available? As she just says, well, there is one, but no one will join her because she lives on the other side of the town and abandoned part of the city. And her name is Hestia, and she's a goddess. And Techno's like, a goddess? Interesting. And of course, Technoway is going to have a harem, but he's too stupid. However, everyone in the SMP will know that he has a harem, but Technoblade's like, let's just say, if he just sees a fucking potato, he will make a fucking potato crop. As he begins going to the abandoned part of the city, the sun begins rising. And she's like, oh, looks like it's about to be noon. Or about to be morning or something. As Dream says, Techno! And James, as Technoblade pulls out a sword in the middle of the abandoned city, and he says, yeah? Why? How do you confuse it's morning to almost noon? As Techno's like, just that I haven't seen the sun in a while, Dream. My internal clock's messed up, and Dream's like, how? As Technoblade's like, As Dream says, okay then, never mind then. Just put me back in the hill so I can sleep. Excuse me. And because when Dream's like in a sheath, like the sheath of the sword, because Technoblade did make, or Dream made that, and when he puts them in there, Dreamy like goes to sleep and recovers his like strength, or his like, this stamina or something. You guys can tell me what the hell that is in the thing. So, but anyway, as soon as Techno was looking around, he found a church. He's like, probably this will be where the goddess is. As he gets in there, he doesn't find anything, but he looks around the place, looks all old and broken down and abandoned. So he begins walking through the center, and he begins looking at the preacher thing, and he finds a door next to it. He opens it and walks downstairs, and he finds Hestia sleeping. And he just like goes on the wall and just sleeps as well. As soon as Hestia wakes up, she just sees this guy in a fancy suit and wearing and having a boar's skull and pink hair and weird ears. And she just says, "Whoa, what are you?" As just wakes up Technoblade. Technoblade's like, "Oh, hello. My name dot 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 is Blade." As she's like, "That's a weird name." And Techno's like, "Well, you can just call me Technoblade if you want. That is my full name." As Hestia's like, "So, why are you here?" As Techno's like, "Well, I'm here to join your familia, you see." As Hestia's like, "Wait, really?" As Technoblade's like, "Yeah, I really don't have anywhere to go, so, and I couldn't actually use some information of where I am at and what is this place all about." And she says, "Wait, so you do not know what gods are?" And Techblade's like, "Oh, I know what gods are, but I don't know how many of them are." As Hestia begins to say, "Okay then, sit right there in the chair and I'll explain everything." I'm gonna say it took 2 hours of explaining. As Hestia finally got done, and she just says, I so well I need you to so Techno, why are you interested in joining my familia?" And Technoblade's like, Well, I have nowhere else to go, and I've pretty much lost about almost everything I care about. So, and she's like, "What do you mean by that?" And Technoblade's like, "Never mind that. Just how do I have to sign a contract with you?" Or as history's like, "Yeah, you do. I have to do something on your back." And Technoblade begins taking off his fancy wear and his shirt. And she says, "Well, not like that. I mean, pull. I mean, just pull over your shirt. Just pull your shirt over at the top of your like chest." And he's like, "Oh, sorry then." She says, "God." She knows the scars around him, the scars of battle. As he began lying there on the bed, she begins like putting him into her familia. But when she looks at his skills, she noticed that there's one skill that came up: the blood god, the madness, the king, and the mortal. Hmm. I'm not gonna say that is not correct, but I'm gonna say that they age. No, I'm gonna say that was not in. Not immortal was not in there. Just I'm gonna say pretend I never said that, guys. Just I want to say that Technoblade ages. To be honest, he ages once every millennia. Yeah, I know it's like weird, but please understand. As Hestia's like, whoa, your skills are like the skills are like insane. The numbers are like skyrocketing. Intelligence insane. Genius OP. I want it just said that OP. As she just says, so is there anything else I know about? Technoblade's like, yeah. As he pulls out a diamond sword, she says, "Whoa, is that a diamond sword?" As Technoblade's like says, "Yeah, but there's something else." As he just says, "Switch places, dream, switch, dream." As all of a sudden, Dream appears where Technoblade is, and Hester's like confused, like, "Wait, who are you?" As Dream says, "Oh, my name's Dream." And Technoblades and the sword just like, let's just say the sword's moving around, just like smacks Dream in the face. It's like, "Ah, what was that for, Techno?" As Techno was like, "Dream, next time, Dream, don't make me do all the work." As Hesty's like confused about saying, "Huh? But how'd you?" As Dream begins explaining about how they're bonded and they can only switch places by switching. I want to say they can only switch by telling each other their names, not their real names, just their gamer tag. As Hesty's like, "Oh, so you're basically bound. All of your souls are bounded to a soul, but you guys get to switch places whenever you want." As Dreamsa says, "Yeah, but I don't want to be here." So, Technoblade, no, no, if they say their names, then no. Hmm. No, I'm gonna say they have to like switch out whenever they wish and please. There, I said it there. As Technoblade's like is now at the place where Dream is, and Hestia's like, so, so, I'm guessing I have two people in my familia. As Technoblade's like, oh, you have way more than that. As Hestia's like confused, like, what do you mean? Well, you have about like 13 people in your familia. As she just says, what do you? All I just see is like, I don't know, you two, I guess. As Technoblade begins pulling out some items out of his inventory and putting them on the table in front of her. But she was confused, but as Technoblade says to touch them, she touches Rambu's ender pearl that was an odd weird color. It was black but purple and white and red. As she touched it, she felt a soul there, and a soul that was scared and depressed. As she quickly lets go of it and puts it back, she just says, "So, I'm guessing these are your friends." As Techno's like, "Yeah, I need, but I can't wake them up." As as she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that." But Technoblade's says, "It's fine. Just I really need some help waking them up, and if no one's gonna be near familiar, then it's perfect. You can help me try to wake some of them up then." As she just says, smile. She begins to smile and says, "Don't worry, I'll try my best to wake him up." Smiles. Technoblade's like, "Okay." Jim's like, "Oh my god, Technoblade, you're so dumb." And the sword's saying that. Well, however, he does pick up back the items, but he keeps. No, I'm gonna say he has an ender chest. All the Dream SMP members have had an ender chest before they died. However, it's still on them. But Technoblade decided to place his ender chest, but he does not have a Silk Touch pickaxe, so will be there permanently. As Technoblade puts a chest down, she's like, "What's this?" As he says, "Well, whatever items you put in there will actually be teleported. Where if you have two chests like this, you can put a chest here, begin putting your stuff in there, and then if you're somewhere really far, you can get them." And so she's like, "Oh, so like teleportation." But Technoblade's like, "Yeah, but there's a catch." And she's like, "What's the catch?" "Well, only the person who's touched the stuff whoever has the stuff that when you put it in there can only get them." So she's like, "Oh, so if someone tries to get into it, they can't steal it." Technoblade's like, "Right." As She's like, "So, who are you gonna wake up first?" As Technoblade looks for begins going through his ender chest, and he finds Rambu's ender pearl. However, Technoblade also did manage to get Rambu's son, which is a piglet. I don't know why. And yes, pig will have a human form, and it kind of look well, yeah, without the tusks, but he will get a tusk mask later on. But anyway, I'll get to the story. I'll go for a few more minutes. So after after yeah, and Technoblade's like, "I'll wake him up. He could become incredibly useful." But that's where I'm going to be ending it off today. If you guys like this video, please hit the subscribe button. You always can. And please drop a like if you love this video. But anyway, I'll talk to you guys in my next video. So see ya!